and I did not swatch. Hi, welcome to episode number 2 of Uniko Knits knitting podcast. My name is Gosia and I'm a knitter and indie dyer. You can find me on Instagram as Uniko Knits and Uniko Yarns. I live on Bornholm, a beautiful sunny island in the middle of the Baltic Sea, and this is my little space on a big web where I share with you my journey. So please grab your favorite cup, something to knit on, and let's dive into my colorful universe. Today is the 17th of December, it's Thursday, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. To start with, I would like to say a huge thank you for everyone who watched the episode number 1. When I was making it and putting it on the YouTube, I did not expect such a response. I thought maybe it's only my family who's gonna watch it, but then I have to say that it's amazing with all those new subscribers and all those who hit the like button and those who reach out to me to say some nice words about the last episode. And thank you so much for you who commented on the YouTube or wrote to me on the Instagram. I was so overwhelmed with the love and so grateful for that you took some time to actually do it for me. And I can't describe how happy I was that you did it. So thank you so much. And it made me really want to make more content and more episodes. So here I am. It's episode number 2. And to start with, I would like to make some small administration stuff and tell you that I'm running a giveaway on the Instagram on my Uniko Yarns profile, where every Sunday I put the new giveaway. It's an advent calendar where you can get the surprise package with one hank of yarn. And it can be silk mohair, it can be sock yarn, it can be merino in the colorway that I would choose for you. And this is really nice. I love that so many people are joining. What you have to do is you have to follow my profile, like the posts and write a comment. And this week I actually asked you to write to me which YouTube knitting podcast you listen to, because I was wondering, I wanted to get inspired. I am self-watching quite many podcasts while I'm knitting in the evening, but it's always nice to open horizons and see something more. And I think I'm actually gonna make some kind of talking, like some kind of chat where I'm gonna tell you which podcast I am watching, both Danish and international, so we can all get more inspired. But to put the name of the podcast is not required to be a part of the giveaway. It is just because I'm just curious, and that's all. So yeah, if you want to get a part of that giveaway, then it's still on. I'm gonna close it tomorrow, Friday evening, the 18th of December, and I'm gonna pick the winner on Saturday. And Sunday, I'm gonna open for the last giveaway, because Christmas is coming and the advent calendar is stopping there. So there is still a chance to get some yarn from me. So yeah, I am drinking from my unicorn cup, which you could see in the intro, it's already getting cold. My unicorn is getting dark, but I really like it. I like also what it says. It says, create your own miracle. And I like those small reminders in the daily life to dream big. It makes me really happy. I got this cup from my friend, a neighbor, which she's seen it in the shop. She bought one for herself, and then she wrote to me if she could come by, and yeah, and then she came by and said like, oh, I have a little Christmas gift for you, and it was this cup. It's really lovely. She's this very sweet person who is selling some CBD oils and Tatrawool oils and have her own clinic here on Bornholm where you can get some wellness. Her Instagram is Clinic Smith. And it's really cool because sometimes from time to time I can pop to her place and get some wellness, get spoiled by myself and her. It's really nice. But yes, let's dive into today's podcast. I'm gonna show you what I have been knitting, my finished objects, my work in progress, and then maybe some plans, what I'm gonna knit afterwards, after Christmas. And there will be also a part for some little chat at the end. So I'm gonna start with what I'm wearing. Today I have my sweater, which is made, it's called Fern Feather. It's from Jennifer Steingass, which you can find on Instagram as Knit Love Wool. She is amazing with the color work, color yokes. And I think it's one of my first color work sweater. It was super easy to follow. Her instructions are very well written, and it was also very easy color work to make because there are no long flows behind, and it's repeatable. It's the increases are very good implemented in the color work, so it's just a pleasure. I would like to show you. It looks like this. I knitted quite a long time ago. So long time ago that I actually don't remember. I knitted in the Holst Supersoft, which is a Danish brand with quite affordable yarn. And there are many things I could say about that yarn. But I will just tell you that I knitted this sweater on with 2 strands of the supersoft, and this one is navy heather and this is ice blue. I think I knitted on 5mm needles, but I did not write it down anywhere, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's about 5mm. I changed I go size up while I'm knitting color work because I'm quite newbie to that. So just to make sure that the color work is not too tight, I'm getting up 1/2 needle size up while I'm knitting it, and then going back to the normal size. There are some funny stuff about that sweater. So I made some changes. I made because I didn't want to have a sweater that was so oversized. I actually wanted really to have it cropped so I can use it to the high waist trousers. And then I wanted to have it, I didn't want to have it so oversized, I wanted to have it quite fitted. So I made some decreases on the sides, like just 2 stitches on the each side of the side. Something like maybe 3 times. So I got like this nice shape in the sweater, and then I made it very short. The problem was so that I did not know that holst super soft is actually shrinking a bit after usage. So when I knit it, it was perfect for the high waist trousers, but then while wearing it, it actually got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then I find out that I'm not using it because I think it looked kind of silly. So I put it to my wardrobe, and I did not really know what I want to do with that sweater. I was considering to give it to my friend so her daughter could use it. At the same time, I really loved it. I loved the feet and I loved the yarn, and so it was very hard to say goodbye to that sweater. So what I decided to do was to make an operation. So I cut the ribbing on the end of the sweater, and I picked up stitches. I still have some leftovers of the yarn. I had bought it on the big coin, so it was 500 grams. And I picked stitches. I guessed which needle size I used. So for the after operation, I used 5 millimeters. I actually made the operation not a long time ago, and I picked the stitches. I needed around 20 centimeters and made some ribbing, and then I put it to my washing machine, because the thing with holst super soft is that it has quite many spinning oils leftovers and some dye leftovers, and I think you can actually see it while you're knitting with it. It's quite greasy and thin. So after wash, it blooms a lot, and I put it to my wash machine. I dried it flat, and then it's just perfect. You can't even see where the operation was taking part. And since then, I'm wearing it a lot, like really a lot, because I kind of like that it's a rustic yarn. I like the feel of it, and I really like the colors. It's really nice that it's not such a thick sweater, that I can actually put some vest on it, or I can put another sweater on it when I'm getting cold at home. So it's nice piece for layering. There is one thing about holst super soft that I don't like, and this is that I think that the ribbing is quite sloppy. This wool does not have so much memory for the shape, so while I was knitting the ribbing, it was fitting, and then after washing it and wearing it, it got kind of loose and it's not going back. It's yeah, and I don't mind so much on my sleeves. I think it's quite nice that they are a bit open, but it's something what I always consider while knitting the body of the sweater. It's like, if I want to have the ribbing straight, then I actually have to go half needle size down, because otherwise it's gonna open on the button of the sweater. So yeah, they have quite many colors, a whole palette, so this is really great for Colorworks. They have different shades. They are, as I told you already, affordable, and the yarn is quite long, so it does not take so much yarn for the grown-up sweater. So if you like rustic yarn, then I can recommend. Just remember to think about the ribbing, that it's quite loose. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. So let's go to my EVOs. So since last, all my package with the Christmas gifts for my close family in Poland is already sent. I'm checking every day, but they did not get it yet. I really hope it can manage to come. There are still a few days. I know that post is quite busy right now because people are ordering a lot from the internet due to the situation. That's many families cannot be together, so I think I'm not the only one who's sending the gifts. But I think I sent it already 1 week ago. So I cross what I can so they get it on time. But since the last episode, I made some socks. You have seen this one. So I made the second one. Those socks are made with the opal. I told you actually it was a Riga, but it's not Riga, it's opal yarn. It's with the glimmer. It's called Lucky Sparkle. It's quite sturdy, so it's not. I wouldn't make necessary sweater in it, unless you like rustic yarn. Then it's perfect. But it still have a nylon, so you can feel the nylon in it. I made this sweater. It's not really a pattern that I followed. I have my go-to way of knitting socks. So I'm starting with the ribbing. It's 1x1 rib, and then I make a cuff for as long I feel like. Then I put some kind of heel. My go-to heel is a fish lip kiss heel, which I made with the German short rows. So it's like this, or maybe it's actually called boomerang heel, because I'm making it as a fish lip kiss heel, but then after making the first part, and I'm about to start to decrease again, then I'm putting few rows, like 1 or 2, and I'm knitting all the round. I found out that way I'm not getting the holes in the heel, as sometimes happen when you do the normal fish lip heel, at least to me. But as you can see, there are no holes at all, and I think it's quite aesthetic way of knitting the heel. So yeah, and after that I'm just making the feet, where I'm knitting in the round, and making the toe with the decreases every second round, till I think it's enough. So my go-to stitch count, it's for my size, I'm putting 56 stitches, and for my daughter, as those socks are, I'm putting I think it's 48 stitches. I knitted on a 2.5mm needles, and I have those needles which I really lost right now, and funny enough, can't find them. I put it somewhere and I don't know where, and I think I'm gonna need to buy a new pair. But I have the bag. It's a sea knit. Those small circular needles, which are both short in self needle and very short string that connects them. And I bought them also in the size 3.5, like this one, and I bought also one in 4mm, which I did not try yet, but I think they're going to be great for the sleeves, because the thing is that it's just constant fit, so it goes so fast. And there are some funny stuff I noticed, because I've tried to knit my socks on those circulars. I tried to knit them on the long circulars. I tried to knit socks on metal and wooden sock needles. And what I noticed is that my gauge is changing quite a lot. So while I'm knitting on sock needles, my gauge is looser than knitting on a 2.5 millimeters circulars. So actually, when I'm knitting on the sock needles, I'm going half size down, so I'm knitting on the 2.25 millimeters. And then I can also see that it's even looser on the metal needles than on the wooden needles. As same with Magic Loop, they are also quite looser. Did you also notice that? Can you see the difference? Or maybe you did you try to knit your socks on a different kind of needles? Or is it just me that my gauge changed a lot? So that was that. They're gonna be a gift for my daughter for the Christmas. I just need to weave the ends. So one gift down. And then I have more FOs, which you haven't even seen as a work in progress, but it was kind of spontaneous cast on. So I've made 1, 2, and 3 Christmas hearts. And aren't they just lovely? So I knitted in the sock yarn, and I just use my scraps for them. It's my hand-dyed yarn, Uniko yarns, but I think you can use any scraps you have around at home. So are those 3 colors. There's some Uniko Party, the one that I made for my daughter with the sparkle, and then the colorway that my boyfriend actually dyed with me a long time ago. Yeah, I knitted them on the 2.5mm needles, and I used the free pattern that is made by Marie from ByBastrup. You can find her on Instagram, where she actually showed how she knitted. It's unfortunately in Danish, but I think if you watch it, then you should perhaps see what she's doing and just can repeat. And then she also have a very nice podcast, which is also in Danish, where she's showing her knittings. It is a pattern where you can improvise a lot. So she's starting with 8 stitches in the bottom, and then she's knitting the round and increasing every second round. So it is like making a toe-up socks. And when you feel like it's enough, then you stop, make some rounds without increases, decreases, and then after that you knit every side separately, where you decrease every second round as well until you feel like it's done, and then you bind off. So those hearts are not the same. I was kind of improvising. You can see that this heart is a bit higher than this one. This one is maybe a bit more broad. Maybe it has a few stitches more in the round. But they are a great gift, and I think I'm gonna send them with the hope that it will get through before Christmas. And if not, then yeah, that's life. And my daughter wants some for us as well, so I think I'm gonna make like 2 more. She wants those 2 colors because she's such a girly girl. I love blue. She loves pinks. Yeah. Yeah, so there was some scraps FOs. I think they are quite cute and fun to make. So thank you, Marie, for making this free pattern. It is super fast knit, so I think I knit it in just a few hours watching some film with my boyfriend. Very easy. Yeah, but that was my FOs for today. And I am knitting still at some Christmas gifts for my for my family here on Bornholm. I will start with showing you the cowl. So last week I showed you, the last episode, one and a half a week ago, I showed you this cowl, which my family is super happy for. And I'm using it all the time. And I'm not having it now because of the microphone. I don't want you to get disturbed. But very easy pattern, very straightforward. And I asked you last time if you would be interested in that I write it down and put it as a free pattern. And there are many of you who said that it would be super great. So I am working at it right now. And also because my boyfriend said that he would really love one more so he can change between those who he has. So he chose the yarn. And the yarn is merino, super soft. It's super wash. It's fingering wave in the colorway autumn leaves. It's Uniko yarns as well. And I'm knitting with 2 strands, as you can see. Or the one is coming from the middle of the ball, and then the second one is coming from the outside. So in that way I can use all the skein, and I can see how much I have left. And I think it's also a very nice way of knitting with the hand dye yarn, because the pattern of the speckles and colors are showing in a very random way that way. And you can see it here. I think the camera is blowing it a bit, but it's there's a lot of greens, browns, some red. Yeah, and that's where I am. I started on the 4mm needles here with a tunnel, and he does not want to have a string in because of the safety reasons. When he's working with the power tool, he don't want to have strings hanging in front of him so they don't get inside of the machine and pull him inside. And I think that is very good. And then I changed to the 5mm, and I just knit a tube in the round. So super easy for the new beginner. You don't have to decrease, increase. Yeah, very easy. And I'm knitting on the acrylic needles from the Knit Pro. And this is simply because sometimes I'm getting pain in my wrists and my fingers, and especially knitting with the metal needles. And I work a lot with metal needles because my boyfriend is often sitting on my needles. So if they wouldn't, then they just breaking. And yes, he's sitting on them because I'm putting them random places. I need a tree for the I need a pocket for my needles, that's for sure. But I found out that they're also very good to change with the metal needles because of the pain in the wrist, because they're very light. And there's something in between being the grippy, like wooden needles, or being what's called glatt, like a metal needles. So it's something in between. So what is more, I made some unicorn. This unicorn is the pattern from CreaJunkie, which is called in slow yarning, and it's really lovely. It is it's a really funny pattern to knit. And last time I did not tell you about construction, so I'm gonna do it now. So I knitted the body in the sock yarn. this one. It does improvise colorway. It's nothing that I'm continuing. And it started with the neckline, where you're knitting the round with one strand, and then you take another strand of same yarn or another yarn. It's up to you. I did with the same yarn, and I'm knitting it around the body with making a lot of increases on this side to make a bun. So you make the body, and then it's a time for the head, and I made head in Uniko Party, and just a pink yarn, sock yarn. I'm just using scraps, so yeah, so you're gonna see them a lot. So the construction for the head is that you knit the neck in the round on a 2.5mm as well. It's all knitted in a 2.5mm needles. Then you put, then I catch the stitches inside of the neck of the body, and then I just knit in the round. I took another set of the needles and I knitted the nose in a pink color, and when I was done with that, I put them all on the circular needles and I was knitting the round while decreasing here on this arc here and increasing a few stitches on the nose part. The next step is gonna be to make pick up some stitches here on the head and make ears, make a horn, and then I thought that I'm gonna make a hair with this glimmer yarn for the dress, which is like red, pink, burgundy. But I think it's gonna be really lovely with some glitter here. So the pattern called for after making the body, you should make a legs. But I decided that I prefer to make a head first because I think it's a bigger gratification and motivation for me to keep going. And I put some feel inside so I can see how it's gonna look. And about the feel, it's you can use the scrap yarn. You can use the scrap of some stuff that you have lying around. You can, I guess there are many sustainable way of putting the feel into it. I actually used the polyester feel, which is like this little bag, and word about that is that no, I don't think it's the best option. I bought this feel a long time ago. I think it was when I got my daughter, and I thought that I would like to make a doll for her, and I bought this feel. I wouldn't buy it again because I think polyester is not the best material for the environment, but same time I had it at home, so throwing it out would not make it more sustainable. I think then it's just better to use what you have. But and no judging, I mean, it's I think the sustainability is not about being saint. I think sustainability is about thinking what we consume and make the choices that are about being aware of choices that you can make and making the choices that are in line with what you believe and what you think is best for you and for the world. So but I don't think it's good when it's a religion. Yeah, but that was that. So I think it's a great scrap project. I think it's really lovely. It's gonna be a gift for my daughter as well for the Christmas if I'm gonna make it on time. I think it's also a very good way to show the yarn. So I'm thinking about making one more, which I will put in August and Mignona shop, which is in Sveneke. It's a really lovely yarn shop where Heidi is selling yarn. which is just above the shop for the kids where Celia is selling sweet things for kids, and it's such a nice and charming little shop with really nice yarn. And I'm also saying my yarn darn. I have a little box with yarn. So I thought it would be a nice thing to show how the hand dyeing yarn is knitting up and what you can do. So I think when I'm gonna have some time, I'm gonna knit one more. And there is another really nice pattern of CreaJunkie that I would love to knit, is the baby Olga, a slow baby Olga, I think it's called. So it's like this little doll where you knit the body. I think it's around 12 centimeter, and you knit the body of the doll, and then you knit some sweater for it, and hat, and little bed, and pillow, and a blanket, with the scrap yarn as well. And what I was thinking is that in Denmark we have this project. It's a volunteer project that if you like to, and you're a knitter and you have some scraps and free time, then you can knit some small dolls or animals. We call it for lommevenner. So it is pocket friends. And so you knit it and then you donate it to the hospital. It's because there are kids who are getting to the hospital with ambulance or emergency, and it is quite scary experience. I tried it with my daughter, and I know it's like often you are just you're not prepared for that. It's not that you have a bag with your things laying there ready for emergency. So you're just getting to ambulance, you are scared, and as a kid especially, even I can tell you that as a mother you are also very scared. And this is just so nice because Danish hospitals are giving some little thing for the kids, not a sweet, but just a thing. So just to cheer them up, and I think it's such a good initiative that knitters can do it. So I thought that I have so many scraps and I haven't tried that pattern yet, but if it's as fun as knitting in the unicorn, that I believe that would be a great thing, like knitting like those small baby Olgas, maybe without bed, because there are some rules about how big the pocket friends needs to be, but maybe just those small dolls with the head and the sweater. And I was thinking to donate it here in Bornholm for the hospital. Yeah. And yeah, and then I thought that now when I'm having like so much yarn at home and I'm definitely obsessed and addicted to knitting, then maybe it would be just a nice thing. I don't want to stress about it. It's not something like in my schedule that I have to do X amount of knits and get donated. I think I'm just gonna knit it from time to time when I feel like it, and then put it in a bag. And then when I'm ready, then I'm gonna contact the hospital and give it to them. So yeah, that was my thought for the next year, because this year is almost done. But back to my whips. Works in progress. I am still knitting on my sweater for my boyfriend. So last time I showed you that I was knitting the body, and now the body is done. And I really love it. He tried it on because I had to check the length. I wanted to finish here where the stitch marker is, but then it would be too short. So it's good I checked. And I really like the way it's ending. So it's just continuing in the pattern, in this broken reed pattern, while you're making the rib in one round, and then you make the right all, or you knit all over the stitches, and then it ends up with this like infinitive way. So I finished it with the Italian bind off, and I think I really like the way it looks, and it's also very stretchy. The Italian bind off is really stretchy, so it's very cool. The original calls for a sweater with the stripes, and I did not want stripes. I don't know why, I just didn't. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because it's hand dyed yarn and it already has a lot of color play in it. Yeah, I think it's fun to make stripes because it makes you motivated, but I just decided not to have. And what I want to tell you about this sweater, yeah, it's a raglan sweater. It's a top-down sweater. It has some German rows on the necklines, so the front part is a bit lower than the back part. So this is nice, and I'm officially on the sleeve island. Yeah, and I'm knitting with my Knit Pro Zincs metal needles in 3,75 millimeter. The pattern calls for 4 millimeters, but I wanted to give it a bit be more tight, so I get like this 1/4 of the centimeter down. I'm knitting it in merino, superwash merino with a deco base, which I'm testing for the shop, Uniko Yarns shop, in a petrol color with some small speckles and color play as well. Very squeezy, very nice and soft. And yeah, it is sweater number 12 from my favorite knits. My favorite things knitwear. And she actually has been in the shown in like her interview with her, and the West, one of her pattern is given to Marie D. It's like this magazine for the knitters here in Denmark, and she seems like a very, very lovely person. It's funny because she's not showing her face a lot on Instagram, actually not at all, I think. So it was really nice to see her and hear what she's saying. She's talking a lot about making sweaters in a design that it's timeless. So it's not gonna go out. So it's like the opposite of the fast fashion. So you know that it's gonna be that you're gonna use it for a long time. And she said that she's not gonna make any sweaters for men or for kids. But as you can see, I'm knitting this one for my boyfriend, and I think it's just perfect. I mean, it does not have any decreases on in shape, so I can't see the reason why you shouldn't make it for the men. It fits my boyfriend very, very well. So yeah, Sleeve Island, and just few days till till Christmas. Am I getting a Christmas stress knitting? Maybe a lot, maybe a bit, maybe a lot. Yeah, it's funny because it's every year like that. It's I'm having this huge plans for gifts, for knitting gifts, and and every year actually is more and more, because I would like to give my knittings to everyone in my family and my friends and close people. But it is just a marathon. And this year I actually did not buy any gifts for my family. So I really need to knit them up. And the time is short. So I'm knitting a dress for my daughter, also as a Christmas dress. So she's getting dresses for big occasions and like birthday or Christmas, not always, but actually always for the Christmas, I think, but not always for the birthday. And she's really looking forward to that. So yeah, quite a lot of knitting. So this pattern is the pattern for Becharmed Knitwear. I think that's the way to pronounce it, and if I'm wrong, then please correct me in the comments. She's Norwegian, and the pattern is in English. It's Eiras dress, a dream dress, and that's where I am right now. I'm really satisfied with that. So it has a quite interesting construction. You start with the waistband, with the lace pattern. It's a really nice lace pattern, very memorizable. So you knit this one straight forward, back and forth with a 3mm needles. And then when you're done with the lengths that you need, then you put it together on the back of the body and sew it together. So you have a seam. And then afterwards, you're picking the stitches around one of the side of the waistband, and you're knitting in the round on a 3.5mm needles. I don't remember exactly what the, and I shouldn't give you all the patterns, so I knit for some centimeters here. And then you put it to the side, and you knit the sleeves. The sleeve starts with this double sit stitch, where you knit 2 rounds with the knit and purl, and then you switch for 2 rounds with purl and knit. Then you knit this one, and then you knit the lace pattern. And this pattern is on 3mm and 3.5mm in the sleeve. And this one really needs some steam to open up. But it's a beautiful lace pattern. And increases are on the back side. You increase while purling. Yeah. And 2 of those, and then I put it together, and right now I'm in the point where I am making the raglan decreases. Yeah. So that's where we are. I knitted in the sock yarn, which I put together 2 strands. It's merino with some nylon and some metal. So it has this glitter in it. I dyed it specially for that dress for my daughter. So I hope it's gonna fit her. I'm sure it's gonna fit her. The good thing about making the things for your kids is that they grow. So if it's too big, then it's they then just gonna be too big for a while, and then they're gonna grow up to it. That's what I'm always thinking. That's why I'm not swatching. But after that, I'm gonna make raglan decreases, and I'm gonna pick up stitches on the second side of the waistband, and I'm gonna knit a skirt. Yeah. So I think, let me see. I think it was that. Oh, I needed a swatch. I just told you that I'm not swatching, but this yarn I'm absolutely don't know what the gauge is. So it is a rustic yarn. It's a natural yarn from Poland, from the Polish mountains. It's really weird right now, but it needs a wash. So I'm gonna wash it. It looks like this. I cranked it up in a cake. And I made a swatch in the 4mm needles. It is because I'm thinking about that maybe I would like to knit something for myself. because now I've been knitting so much for other people, so I really feel like I want something that I can knit. And I was thinking to make some rustic non-superwash yarn and maybe make a sliding sweater. I was thinking about maybe a sweater from Steingass or Jennifer Steingass, so with color work. I have this yarn in the natural color, in the natural white, like this off-white. And I have one in a gray, which is also natural, not dyed. And then of course I have possibility to dye it if I feel like. And I kind of feel like I would like maybe a red sweater. But we will see. I'm gonna start with the swatch and I'm gonna see if I can find a pattern to match it. If you have any ideas for the good Icelandic patterns or designers, then please let me know. I haven't knit so many colorwork sweater. I think it's only 2, no 3. I made 3, and 2 of them are Jennifer Steingass. Maybe I'm gonna show you all of 3. I'm quite proud of myself. Yeah. So that was that for the knitting part. What I wanted to say now is a little chat about languages, because languages are a funny thing. It's like a system, and I am using 3 languages. I'm originally from Poland, so my mother tongue is Polish. And then I live in Denmark, so I speak fluently Danish. And I've been studying at a university where our spoken and written language was English. So all those 3 languages are coexisting in my brain, in my mind. Yeah. But there are funny things about languages. It's like I find out that I'm kind of switching the way I'm talking, not just obviously the accent and so on, but also like the sound of my voice is changing while I'm changing the languages. I think my Danish, it sounds a bit childish. When I'm speaking Polish, I always hear that it's like I'm shouting a bit. So I think it's quite funny, those observations. I prefer to knit, if I can, I prefer to knit Danish patterns. It's like my go-to. That's also the way my first pattern I knitted, it was in Danish. So I learned the Danish way of saying stuff in knitting word. And then I got a part in a challenge that I think it was a Skandir that implemented that you should try to knit a pattern in the language that you never tried. So I tried the English pattern, and I think it was so great because it opened up the whole world, whole new universe of knitting possibilities where I can suddenly take the patterns from around the globe and knit whatever I want. So that was great. So right now I'm also knitting quite many English patterns. Norwegian are very close to Danish, so they are also fine. And then I never knitted a pattern in Polish. That's a funny part because I am from Poland and I started to knit when I was still living in Poland. But I never tried that. Maybe I should. I'm quite sure there are some good Polish designers out there. In every day I'm using mostly Danish to communicate with my family and at work. I use my English a lot at the university, so academic language, but it got a bit dusty because it's already 2 years ago, and as I said, I mostly use Danish. And my Polish is very street, because that's the way I communicate mostly with my family. But they told me that my Polish has a lot of Danish accent right now, so it's not like a clean Polish, which is kind of weird since I've been living here for something like 10 years, but it's amazing that it influenced my language, native language, so much. I was sometimes asked in which language my dreams are. So my dreams are actually not in any language. I think, I don't know, do you dream in a language? Because I think in my dreams I'm very abstract. So they are like they don't have any language, or at least I'm not remembering it when I wake up. I'm thinking in different languages same time, simultaneously. So that makes it sometimes I'm also mixing the languages while I'm talking, because my brain is not always departing which language it is I'm talking right now. And sometimes when I said just a word or have a thought in another language, then I suddenly can start to speak that language. What more? Yeah, and that's makes it I actually make my own words sometimes, which are a mixture between different languages. Yeah, can happen. Oh, what language are you speaking? It is so funny that I can see that this last podcast, from your comments, I can see that there are viewers who are watching the episode around the globe, and it's so nice to see that my podcast visited like Germany, Holland, Belgium, USA, UK, Israel, Norway. It is so wonderful that you send me greetings. It's just so lovely to connect with people from other parts of the globe, other continents. It made me so happy when you say that. Yeah, and there was one viewer who said that maybe it would be super nice if I could show you around Bornholm. So that was kind of my plan. I just wasn't unsure if you would be interested in that, because it is, after all, a knitting podcast, and I'm not sure if it should be a part of the knitting podcast or it should be like a separate part, something called Visit Bornholm or something. What do you think? Maybe it depends on the length of the clips, if it's gonna be a long clip showing you around or just a short trip. We have quite many tourist attractions here. Of course, it's a winter time, so yeah, it's cold. But I was thinking about maybe taking you to these places and show you and maybe tell you a story about those places. I'm a gear person, so I bought this one, and it's not sponsored and it's not a commercial, but it's a Steadicam. So I thought I'm gonna take you with me with this, and I'm gonna make some hopefully nice footage when I learn how to use this. I really like this cinematographic look, so I would like to use some of my time to make nice footage, so you can really feel like you're there. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I would like to try. But let me know if you think it should be a part of the knitting content, like knitting podcast, or it should be another playlist where you can choose to show those clips. Yeah, I think this is what I had for you today. No, I actually wanted to show you something more. It is not a new dyed yarn. I actually did not dye yarn in this week because time was short, and Christmas is coming, so I'm really busy with my other stuff. And we have what I call for avocado timing, avocado lights right now. So there is a very short period of time where there is a daylight where I can make stuff. And I can also feel that when it's getting dark, I am kind of getting not lazy, but just want to chill on the sofa under the blanket and drink something warm and neat, and I'm sleepy. So a bit more tired in the different part of the years where you have sunlight till almost 11 o'clock in the night. But right now it's just few hours a day where I feel not like a zombie. But I wanted to show you some yarn in the shop. And I want to show it because it makes me so happy. It's called Sweet Dreams. It's silky mohair, 425 meters per 50 grams. And I just love those colors. I get really inspired from one of my dreams. Yeah, I'm dreaming colorful, so I made it on the both merino base and then silk mohair, and I think it's so dreamy and wonderful. Also because I did not buy anything to my stash, so I can just show you what I have in my stash. If you're wondering if I'm gonna just show you Uniko yarns for my knitting, then I can very fast answer you no, because I love to try different yarns. I love to try different colors, different qualities. So it's not gonna be only my hand-dyed yarn. I buy some yarn in Svenneke, in the August Mignona shop. I love it a lot, in the local shop. So yeah, there are gonna be different types of yarn. Right now it's quite hand-dyed heavy yarn, because it's a gift knitting and people want to have my yarn from me. And there are of course scraps, and I want to use them. And of course it's quite tempting when you have all that yarn laying there, and I dye the colors I love, where I'm inspired, so it is also natural that I am gravitate toward them. But yes, I think that's for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting, for liking, for subscribing. I hope you stay happy. I hope you stay safe at home. I hope your family is safe. I hope you enjoy the pre-Christmas time. And I hope you knit a lot, make a lot. And I hope also to see you for the next episode. I think it might be first after Christmas. I think this 2 weeks periods, it's just fine for me, a 1.5 week period. So if I don't see you before that, then I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.